With the rumbling officially starting and the world now trembling in terror, where do you go from here? Well, there's the aftermath of all the random titans and what's about to happen with them, and there's obviously some big questions. If Eren has seemingly control that he can strip away the armor of Reiner's Titan and even release Annie from her crystal, in theory you would think he could control all those mindless Titans, especially the pure Titans that Zeke made. But if so, why is he letting them attack his people when seemingly Eren cares about his people first and foremost? And I remember when I read these chapters, it was two thought process. Either A, this is a way to push his people back so they don't pursue him, or two, Zeke might still be in control, and I wasn't really confident in going either of those directions because if anything about the endgame is proven right, is that whatever your idea of what can happen, probably the opposite will happen, and even if the thing you think is about to happen, there's bound to be a couple of nuclear bombs waiting to explode at a moment's notice that you didn't see coming. But I think one of my absolute favorite points in this episode, and don't get me wrong, we'll talk about Annie. That's going to be probably everyone's spoiler clickbait thumbnail, showing her front and center, but we will talk about that. But the thing that I think sells this episode to me is this very simple scene right here, talking about how basically there's a devil inside all of us, and that's how we got here. Because the theme of Attack on Titan, and I think the moral of the Attack on Titan story, is one that's been often misunderstood, especially when you see the full product and when you get to the ending and you see what it all represents. But even before reaching that critical moment, it's very clear that Isayama isn't saying one way or another what Eren's doing is right or wrong, or what Reiner was doing is right or wrong. Basically, most characters in this world have some sins under their belt. And the idea that basically the tragedies of their lives, whether it's Eren having seen everything that he has and seeing that trampling everything outside those walls is the only way to keep his people safe, to Reiner's own kind of like growing up thinking everyone inside those walls are, they're worth kicking down the walls, letting innocent people get trampled, as he learned to actually love and care for many of those peoples in the walls. A lot of different sins have led to this moment, and it's not about whether what Eren is doing is right or wrong, or what any of these characters have done in the past, present, or what they might do in the future. It's that war never changes, is that conflict breeds conflict, and that ultimately it'd be nice if Armin's way could happen, because really, is anything gonna change? Eren wins, the whole world's destroyed, it's beyond genocide. If he loses, what do they do in retaliation for one of their own trying to do it? War isn't something that's pretty, and the fact that Isayama wrote it in such a way to say there really isn't a right or wrong angle here, it's just that war is a piece of shit, and that conflict breeds conflict, and what do you do in the face of something like this? And every character is going to have their own responses, and really none of them are above the other. And I think the idea of watching the characters realize what's going down before ultimately the Titans come after them, John being probably the voice of reason in that moment, I thought was always great because John's been one of the more critical people of Eren, but over the course of the show and the manga, he kind of grew to respect Eren a hell of a lot. But the idea of the ones who are going to benefit from this genocide are us, and the fact that, he didn't go with Zeke's plan, he didn't sterilize us, he's doing this for us, but then there's the fear about, well, why are they attacking us? And they're thinking of those moments, like him saying, I care about all of you. The core theme of Eren is that he wants his people to be safe. That's why he was so scared when Zeke was unleashing the Pure Titans, because from his point of view, he doesn't have full confidence on everyone who did drink that wine, but also those people who did drink the wine are very close in prison cells with his friends that he's trying to save. Eren doesn't want his people to die, but there's so many things going on that the monster that we're now looking at, who's about to trample the entire world as we know it, is about to make episode 1 of season 1 look so small in scale as all these colossals come marching on their door. One of the better moments for sure is definitely Connie, because what do you do with Falco now that he most likely has the Jaw Titan? Well, we give it to Commander Pixis, right? I mean, that would be a pretty good idea. I mean, it's an enemy. We can make him come back from the dead, essentially. And Connie has, for all these years, been looking after his trapped mother under that debris. and is saying is, like, you understand where Connie's coming from, but you also understand where Armin's coming from. That conflict breeds more conflict. If we take someone who is a warrior candidate and feed it to someone of our own, how is that going to change the rage that the world is putting on us? Like, Reiner and company, at this point, like, Armin wants as much peace as he can have. And if we feed Falco, how are they ever going to want to work with us or, want to stop killing us at the very least? And you can see where every character is coming from. That's what makes the rumbling so devastating, is that when you sit back and look at it from every person's perspective, it all comes down to how could we have prevented this? Because from the past to the present, each side has made atrocities occur for the other. And sadly, when you're given that much power, what do you do with it? It's very interesting, though, when you do realize that Eren can essentially strip away the Nine Titans' abilities. Like the fact that Reiner's armor came off and he had such a devastating blow. The fact that Annie's crystal that she trapped herself in was forced open. She's probably had a hell of a dream there, coming to realizing what the actual hell is Eren doing. Going from, kind of kicking the shit out of him in training to seeing the shit that she's now going to experience. It's pretty crazy to see what Eren can do as he marches towards basically the world and how fearful they are. Though I do want to make a quick mention of this. Most people have made amazing jokes with this, but I saw a handful of people on Twitter and Reddit get legit mad that they think like, Isayama and Mappa, they messed up. Like, okay, if we're going into the past realm, why is Historia's chair there? Why is Annie's father's groceries there? Are they subjects of Ymir? What bullshit writing. Like, there was some legit mad people, even though a majority just thought it was a funny joke, and I thought it was hilarious myself. But it's no different than the clothes on their back being transported to the past realm. It's what they had on them when the message was sent. He had a handful of groceries and dropped the groceries when he was in past. Historia sitting in her chair, the other characters were standing, right? It's not something that's like some weird plot hole that some people are trying to make out. Credit to most people making some funny-ass jokes with it, but there was some legit mad people that just sounds like, goddamn, you're still trapped in that part 1 Mappa hate, like, you need to calm down and chill. But overall, though, it was pretty crazy to see all the different characters and just how high the tension is. We have Best Boy coming in after being thrown in a jail cell, being beaten to shit by these people, now rising to the occasion saying like, bitches, you're gonna follow me now, you don't have to fight, but let's push these foes back. And it was great to see, as, horrifying as it was to see people like Pixis, get thanked for everything he's done for them as they had to blow him apart. But I will say, out of every maneuver gear scene that we've seen from Studio Mappa, this was the episode with the best animated maneuver gear. It was very reminiscent to some of the earlier stuff from Wit Studio, not including like those key scenes that were animated by one person and took them 6 months to make. But the general maneuver gear scenes, like, they had some incredible shots there for sure. And it definitely gave me season 1 flashback vibes when they were cutting apart the Titans. The Titans in general looked incredible. But having the maneuver gear remind me of the early days was brilliant. I was really glad to see that. The extra time in, cooking this show a bit longer in the oven than what part 1 was given. It's crazy to see how polished this core is really turning out to be now that we are halfway through it. Thoughts and feelings, of course. Let me know your favorite moment, theories, if you have any. If you don't know of the source material, leave a like if you enjoyed and subscribe if you're new around here. Until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.